I woke up that morning with a sense of purpose, quiet confidence I hadn't felt in months. I was going to nail my quarterly presentation. I'd refined every slide, rehearsed every line, and even practiced pausing to let key points land. I walked into the office carrying a fresh cup of coffee, the steam still rising in soft, hopeful swirls. Then I saw Brian standing by the door, arms crossed, an almost imperceptible smirk on his face. My heart stuttered. Why was he here already? Why did he look unpleased? I spotted my colleagues gathering around the conference table, loading tablets and taking seats. My slides glowed on the big screen. I took a deep breath, bracing myself. Then Brian spoke, his voice deceptively warm. Before we begin, I have a few adjustments to suggest. He tapped the screen. These figures here, did you verify them? My chest tightened. I thought I had. I'd triple-checked, but doubt crept in. I swallowed and said, yes. I cross-referenced with our internal analytics. He raised an eyebrow. Interesting, because these numbers don't match what finance reported last night. I felt a start of panic. No one else blinked. They were watching me, waiting for my next move. I flipped through my notes, voice wavering, trying to recall where I might have erred. My confidence unraveling, I muttered, I'll double-check and reschedule. Brian nodded, satisfied. The meeting dissolved into hushed chatter. My moment to shine vanished like smoke. Walking back to my desk, I passed the cluster of desks he'd subtly rearranged mine, stood alone, away from my team. Emails pinged in my inbox, but none were from Brian. The group chat buzzed. Reminder, team lunch today. Without inviting me, I stared at the screen, blinking at the empty field where my name should have been. It hit me. This wasn't one mistake. It was a pattern. Gaslighting, they call it. Plant a seed of doubt, isolate you, then watch you fall apart. I clenched my fists, tasting bitterness. I'd been on the receiving end of a quiet war. At first, his praise had felt genuine. He'd recruited me personally, called me a rising star, the innovative spark this department needs. I basked in it, sharing details with friends. They congratulated me. I felt proud, but then the tone shifted. The praise came tied with conditions. You're nearly there, but not quite. He'd praise one idea, then in the next breath dismiss it as not strategic enough. He'd applaud my presentations in private, then undermine them publicly. It was as though he measured my worth by his ability to control me. In one meeting, I suggested a new campaign strategy, laying out projections and creative concepts. Brian smiled approvingly. Strong thinking, he said. My chest lifted. But 20 minutes later, in front of senior execs, he announced, "We've already analyzed that approach and found it underperforming." I tried to argue. He waved my objection away. "You must have misunderstood the data, Sarah. Let me send you the report." My cheeks burned. He owned the narrative. I was left scrambling to defend myself, sensing my colleagues' sympathetic glances morph into pity or indifference. That night, I lay awake, replaying every interaction. I knew I was good at my job. I'd built my career on measurable successes, yet here I was, questioning every spreadsheet, every email I'd sent. I downloaded all our quarterly reports, cross-checked them obsessively. I tracked deadlines, timestamps, meeting invites. Nothing was wrong, except my mind. Brian was bending reality to test me, to prove his power. It was twisted brilliance. One afternoon, a teammate, Raj, sidled up to me. His usual easygoing smile was gone. "Hey, Sarah, big client call in 5. You're not presenting, right? Brian said you'd need more prep time." His voice was low, worried. I managed a nod, though my pride bristled. I wondered how many of my teammates had been warned not to involve me. I felt the sting of betrayal. but also something else, a spark of clarity. I realized that if I allowed him to define my competence, I'd never escape. I had to reclaim my narrative. The next morning, I arrived early again, but this time I didn't carry a coffee. I left it in the break room and went straight to the HR office. My hands trembled as I explained the pattern, the sudden praise that tipped into public humiliation, the erased emails, the whispers of fragility, the shifting goalposts. The HR rep listened, took notes. She promised confidentiality and an investigation. I felt a cautious relief, tempered by fear of retaliation. Walking back through the glass doors of our wing, I rehearsed my next moves. He would sense betrayal. He would try harder, escalate. I needed evidence. Saved emails, witness accounts, documented patterns. I opened my laptop and started archiving everything: meeting, invites, memos, text messages. Each click felt like a small act of rebellion. I was gathering ammunition to protect my career. That afternoon, Brian cornered me by the espresso machine. He gave me that same smile, but colder. "I hear you've been talking to HR," he said softly. My heart pounded. "I'm just ensuring everyone has the support they need," he continued, voice syrupy. "I know these transitions can be hard." His gaze pierced me. He was warning me, but I held my ground. "I appreciate your concern, Brian," I said evenly, "but my concern is the integrity of our work." He nodded, but I saw the calculation in his eyes. I walked away feeling both terrified and empowered. He couldn't gaslight me if I refused to doubt myself. Over the next weeks, HR's investigation unfolded like a slow burn. I met with colleagues who shared their own stories, missed invites, contradictory feedback, public shaming disguised as coaching. Together, we formed a tapestry of manipulation so clear that HR had to act. Brian was put on administrative leave. Suddenly, the office buzzed with nervous speculation. My desk moved back next to my team. Emails addressed me again. I felt a strange mix of vindication and emptiness. I had fought, but the fight had scarred me. Sitting at my restored workspace, I realized gaslighting isn't a flaw in people, it's a tactic of power. It thrives in isolation and silence. It starves you of trust in yourself, so you lean on the manipulator. Breaking free means rebuilding self-trust and seeking solidarity. It means exposing the pattern and refusing to play along. Today, I consult with organizations to recognize and dismantle toxic leadership. I share my story in workshops and panels, hoping to spare others the months of self-doubt and anxiety I endured. I still carry scars, flashbacks to that Tuesday morning, my trembling voice, my racing thoughts. But those scars remind me of my resilience. They remind me that even in the coldest moments, we can choose to fight for our reality. If you've ever felt erased, belittled, or confused by a helpful boss, know this: you're not alone. You deserve clarity and respect. You deserve to be seen for your talent, not sidelined by someone else's insecurity. Trust your perceptions. Seek allies. Document the truth. Thank you for listening. If this resonated with you, subscribe for more real-life stories of survival and empowerment.